we've been on video games a lot, so I know that we could probably say a lot more stuff. I'm noticing Adrian over there, you're all quiet. Justin, you're not as much into games. I'm gonna bring something that you guys could probably whoop ass on, because I would love to hear your guys' opinion. But yeah, question of the night. Another one. Is this a community question or a question of the night?
No, this is actually a question of the night, people.
Okay,
cool. And another one, because I was just really curious to get you guys' opinions on something.
I can talk about this question a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what, Justin? Since you can, I will let you go first, but let me read it for the viewers. It is, in your opinion, what do you think makes a great storyteller? Who do you think in the present is a great storyteller of our time, and why?
Okay, that second question is hard because there are a lot of good storytellers. But okay, I'll say this. The best storytellers have two main qualities, in my opinion. The first is that they know how to divvy out information at a steady pace. You know what I mean? Like, don't just throw everything at somebody. Pace it out where we learn and we want to continue learning about the characters, the world, whatever it is. It has to be a bait. You know what I mean? Like, you have to want to entice you to want to learn. But the main quality, the best storytellers understand people. Like, they understand how people think. They understand how they react. They understand how they communicate with each other. If you understand people, you can tell great stories because you understand human emotion. You understand logic. You understand pathos, ethos, all those qualities. These are things that great storytellers do. And, I'll say this, like, Steven Spielberg doesn't always make great movies all the time, but one of the reasons why his movies work is because he hits human emotions that people can all relate to, whether it's a pathos or a logos or an ethos. He understands how his characters think. And by communicating that to us, we sympathize with them, and that's what makes those stories great. But that's the thing, is that Bridge of Spies, I think, is a great piece of storytelling because it's made to appeal to logic. It's made to appeal to people who like to follow the logic of how people communicate and negotiate with each other. And that's great storytelling because you can see the way the mechanics work, how people would react when one thing happens or another. And it's just that's what makes good storytelling. We care to see how that process works, about human interaction.
S.M Stirling is one of my favorite writers. What he does is he actually does stuff where he'll take a property that's already been developed and everything, and there's something fucked up with it, he bridges all those gaps and all those plot holes and turns it into an amazing story. I know him most from the Terminator series when he redid all the Terminator franchise and books. And there is so much little okay, I can't say the word. I knew it and now it's gone. But with the Terminator series though, there's a lot of shit that with time travel, there's so much things fucked up. And this person, S.M Stirling, and here's his bookography, if you want to call it that. But he's most popular from. Thank you. He's actually done. It says he was most known for the Draka series. Do you know anybody watch Draka or know what that is?
Look at you, Nick. Reading this high class literature.
Nick can read. Yay!
Fuck you guy, I can't talk
say that.
No, I'm happy.
No, but for instance, Tears of the Sun, he did that, and he turned that book, and granted, it's not that creative because he's fucking with something that's already been done, it's already had that story told, but any kind of plot hole, anything you could have got more out of it, he turned it into something amazing. But yeah, people, like I said, people know him from Draka. I don't know what the fuck Draka is. But every time I bring up S.M Stirling, it's like, oh yeah, Draka or Draco, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know what that is. But the Terminator series, I think I should read it. And obviously, this one's very, very obvious. But Stephen King is fucking amazing. Dark Tower series is one of the greatest fucking series of books ever. And I haven't even read most of them. I only read The Gunslinger and a couple others. So.
Nick, I'm surprised you didn't bring up your favorite, the one that you always suck in the dick of.
Well, Robert Kirkman from Walking Dead?
No.
What?
Another one.
Frank Darabont?
Kojima.
Well, see, he's a good storyteller, but I like to think about books as a story because here's the thing with Hideo Kojima. He's a great storyteller, and man, Metal Gear Solid, that's a continuity for your ass. But the thing is, he's had so much time to make this fucking story, and sometimes it's the characters that really bring it out of him. Like for me, Solid Snake, the character, if you read it on a book, he's not that great. I don't like the character of Solid Snake, and I honestly feel like how I talk shit about Star Wars, how I just needed a reason to throw in a twist in there, they're related. Metal Gear Solid, sorry, I love Metal Gear Solid, but they did the exact same fucking thing. Why is Big Boss the weird clone semen father of fucking Solid Snake? Why is a main bad guy Liquid Snake his brother clone? What the fuck does any of this shit mean?
Clone semen father.
Wow.
That's a pretty good explanation for what actually happens.
Well, no, and you're right. There is a good explanations, but the problem is though, it's just when they tell the story, it's Oh, by the way, if you were already confused, let's add in something else. They're brothers. Oh, but they're not really brothers. They weren't conceived and had the same father. They're actually machines. But no, they're not really machines, though. They're clones of other people. Like, what the fuck?
No, it's kind of what's funny what Trey says. He was like, dude, you could explain the entire plot of the entire Metal Gear franchise with just one word: nanomachines.
Okay.
Nanomachines. It's all nanomachines.
No. Because the thing is, you can explain an entire game, which is 4. That's all nanomachines. But there are a lot more going on than just nanomachines in this game.
I actually got my favorite storytellers actually come from comedians. I know you guys are using directors and book writers, but my favorite storytellers are comedians because their whole job is to get you in that situation and make you feel like you're part of the storyline that they're giving you. And my favorite is Dave Chappelle and Richard Pryor.
Nice.
Richard Pryor is probably at the top because the way he tells his stories, it's just on such a personal level. It's almost like you're down the block with him and his buddies as he talks about the hobo trying to get free drinks out of him when he was 14. And I love how he's just so personal with stuff and how like he doesn't care. Like anything he can use is a bit because everyone has the same emotions, same storytelling, or same kind of scenarios as him. And he just brings you into his life. Like I remember when he opened up, I think it was I forgot which one of his stand-ups it was, but he actually came up after he set himself on fire. And he came up all quiet, everyone's silent and stuff. He comes walking up. He goes, pulls out a match. He goes, "This is me." Pulls it out, lights it. I know y'all making this joke the whole time I was gone. And it's just funny because nobody that actually has a huge ego about themselves will make a joke about setting themselves on fire. And how people were just dissing about it the whole time.
Just reading the chat right now, Brandon, Bugs' husband, he has said in the chat, he was like, I always consider Stephen King a great storyteller. He develops his characters like no other because every time they die, you always care about them.
Yeah.
He kind of agrees with you.
And to jump on that too, Brandon, just really quick, because that's what I was going to say. Like, what Stephen King does is he makes you feel like you're in that world. Like, that's why the movies of Stephen King don't fucking work, because it's simple, and you're trying to, like, impact all this shit that you wrote in this book into an hour and a half of a movie, and then have to rely on acting and all this shit. It's just like, yeah, it's just, fuck that. Like, it's better in the book, because you have full control.
They work better when they're either based on short stories or if they're in TV shows.
Yeah.
Like
No, they're not. Have you ever seen The Dome?
Okay, The Dome is on the exception, but I mean like 11, 22, 63, and Shawshank. Those are based on shorter material that they expanded into longer forms.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to see that so bad.
I think I had to bring this back, but Damien Chazelle for the 2 movies he did.
Yeah.
Like I think he's a great story in that of music, like the way he portrays music in films and the musicals and imagery. The way he uses imagery is freaking amazing. Like,
well, him doing he wrote 10 Cloverfield Lane and then Whiplash, and man, Whiplash can make your motherfucker cry. Like Whiplash is really fucking.
He made me cry over a freaking drum solo.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. And 10 Cloverfield Lane, I hate that ending, and
in general.
Yeah, but I feel like that wasn't his fault. I feel like
No, it's not his fault at all. It's not his fault. And another one, Jim Jefferies. The way he does his comedy and his political views, or
is that the roast guy?
What?
Does he do the roast, the celebrity roast?
No, he's the Australian comedian.
The Australian guy who just he got so much praise for his gun control talk. The way he does things, and like I think the whole story of him with his son, every time he talks about his son, I can just see it happening in my mind. Like he, portrays it really good.
I mean, I love Jim Jefferies too, but his comedy routine wouldn't be funny if he was an Australian.
True.
Like if you actually listen to it, you're kind of like, man, if he was American, this would be lame.
But do you guys believe in the whole British comedy is different? Like, because I always feel like that's like a reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it is really different.
Not most.
It depends on what type of comedy you're coming from.
Very different. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think Ricky Gervais is just funny. Like I like Ricky Gervais, and it's like, oh no, like some people say they don't like him because they just don't enjoy the way he does, and he's like, no, it's the way British style works. But I've seen so much British comedians that I love, and it's just like, can someone just be shitty? Like, can it just?
My perfect example is like look at somebody like Mr. Bean, where I think he is British, but like he just pretty much just does slapstick in his early career, which is like you could just translate to American, but like his English sensibilities kind of give it a little bit more spice. So I guess
that's the whole thing. It's like where you're from influences your kind of comedy. So British comedy is different than American comedy.
I would say British comedy is a lot more awkward in silence. Like
dry.
Yeah.
watch.
Much like their
Yeah,
sex.
yeah, it's very dry.
Oh, that's fucked up. You respect your landlords. You are a
Fuck
colony
them.
of the United Kingdom of Britain, so you
We're
better
not a
respect them.
colony. We're a
I feel
fucking
like that-
independent nation.
Dude, I feel like that joke came from somewhere dark. Like he watched British porn once, and he was like, "Man, this shit is not fucking working." Like,
My dick was fine. This is bullshit.
German shit is not working for me.
My favorite two are comedians. Well, right now it's Joey Diaz. If you don't know who he is, like
Oh,
he has a
shit,
podcast.
yeah.
He's amazing. Like Joey Diaz, like is great at storytelling, but also Bill Burr is also amazing because he has a podcast
wow.
of just him. You know how hard that is to not work off anybody and just be like, yeah. So I went down the street and I bought a bagel, and then just like go off for the whole hour on that. That's amazing.
I just like the way you did Bill Burr right now. Just
Yeah, I picture Bill Burr talking shit about the
I
bingo
got
right
a fucking,
afterwards.
I got a fucking bagel, and the motherfucker was like looking at me like motherfucking. You know.
Damn, Nick just like jizzed all over his computer screen. You went up 10 points in his book.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
like, yeah.
And then when you first came in, my panties were wet. So I mean, we're gonna get married by next week. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Run as fast as you fucking can.
No, that sounds like good because I always hear how much Nick and Ganja always talk about Bill Burr and how he's great as stand-up comedian and great as storyteller. It's kind of funny too because you hear people talk more about Bill Burr than Louis C.K. and I thought everybody loved that guy. So
See, what happened was when he started doing more shit, it's almost like he kind of like left some of his fans who were like, oh man, because I watched Louis C.K. right before he became famous, like right before it. And man, his fan base, like he used to actually go on to Pirate Bay, the site where everyone downloads shit from, free shit, and hopefully they're still alive. They always get arrested every 2 weeks. But Louis K actually went on there and left in the comment section like, "Hey, thanks for watching my stuff, guys. But if you can, donate me $2 and then go ahead and steal this shit. I don't care if you steal it." Like, you know, like,
Nice.
Yeah.
The
I would say like Joey Diaz is definitely better than like any comedian right now with storytelling. But it's just that his age, and he talked about this in his podcast, he could be bigger. Like honestly, he could be bigger than Louis C.K. I think. But it's just that he's older and he likes it a little bit quieter and he's a little bit more laid back. But I mean, Joe Rogan talks about him. He thinks Joey Diaz is the greatest comedian alive right now. That's what Joe Rogan thinks.
I don't have a specific example because I see a lot of different people do it, but I always say like the greatest, great storytellers is always the ones that make me, when I go into their store or go into their movie, I come out and like, I didn't think about that way. Or they just give me a whole different perspective on how the situation is, like especially like a negative one, and they like change my mind to actually be like it's positive, or like a positive situation actually make it look like it's negative. Like I like off the top of my head, I think of something like Black Mirror, where they take a concept where I know Nick, you don't like it, but they take a concept of technology, the future, and this whole idea of something that everybody knows, something that everybody fantasizes about, pop culture. We always think about what's the future gonna look like. They take that simple idea and kind of just switch it and flip it and just like, oh yeah, everybody always puts technology or the future in a positive light. How is it going to actually help humanity? Black Mirror said, the writer, I can't remember his name. I really wish I knew his name so I can give him
Charlie Brooker.
Thank you. But he takes that and just says, what about not, I wouldn't say the Black Mirror, the negative reflection of what the future would look like, but how it could be interpreted as bad or this way. And I just love that whole aspect of just like something that we look at and marvel at. He could just take it and flip it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like great storytellers are able to do that, give me a whole different perspective of a situation or an idea that I even like think of.
Okay. The thing about storytelling, like, as a writer, one of the challenges is trying to make a character that not only feels real, but at the end of the day tell a story. Because you can't have just a story that focuses all on one character. You got to build this world for why this character is the way they are. And to me, what I look for in storytelling is why is a character, like, how are you developing your character? And how is your character living in this world? And how is this world manipulated by what the character's actions are and vice versa? Like, how is this world changing the character and does it make sense? So when I looked at something, for good storyteller, I look to Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan. I think what they do.
Say that shit. But go ahead.
Okay, the thing is though, what they do is they take, even if it's not their own stuff like Batman or Westworld, they take it and they not only flesh out the world, they also make it influence and build the characters and vice versa. So like, in The Dark Knight, that's Christopher Nolan's Batman. That's not Batman from a specific comic book. He created this world and then created Batman to fit in this world. And then you have Jonathan Nolan creating a show. If you look at Jonathan Nolan's work, Westworld and Person of Interest, all these stories have the main character there that influences the world and vice versa. And to me, that's what really makes good storytelling is the main character being set within the universe. And I think one of the best writers is a writer that I just recently looked up, Casper Knight. He made this book called Book One, Ender's Gate, and it blew me away. And I had no idea that this book existed. So when I read it, it really inspired me to create more.
I do have a writer in mind, and the reason why I choose this writer, this storyteller, is because I feel he's really underrated. He's told really personal stories, and his characters feel so alive and so personal that you want to follow them. So, and there's this one movie that he did. And there's this one movie he did where, it's this guy, he finds out his girlfriend's having an affair, and it's really tragic how he doesn't even know about it, and he's one of the best storytellers, and I just say his name, Tommy Wiseau.
All right, man.
Why can't you say Zack Snyder?
So fuck the show. We're done.
Because Zack Snyder's not a good storyteller.
Listen to that broken internet the whole time just to hear that shit. End the show now.
Oh my god.
Wow.
No, Max, give me a real answer before I fucking ground your ass again.
Well, if I had to pick a good storyteller, it would have to be Kenneth Branagh, and the way he interprets the not Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare stories. And
Oh yeah.
I feel like he's one of the better storytellers because he just makes things so big and so epic, and that's what I like about him. I like storytellers that can do that, just make everything feel so big.
But my last storyteller, and this is not someone who writes or does anything. He maybe does. I don't know what his personal life is, but co-host 3000.
I missed that motherfucker.
Me too, man. No, co-host 3000. This dude would do a story. I mean, I remember. I think Jesse Shady Baby. He's usually in a double toasted chat, but he's post up videos that he's made based on the stories that him and Corey Coleman have told. The whole co-host is getting into sports, and he tells a story about he was bullied, trying to get into sports, and how Corey and Cyrus, Chris Cox from oneofus.net, etc., making fun of him, and it turned into a funny ass joke. I've watched that video hundreds of times. It's fucking hilarious. Just anything that co-host has talked about, especially his dynamic with Corey, because they're both good storytellers, not amazing, but him as a team with Martin Thomas or whoever, man, it was perfect. I'm not saying this because we're double toasted, the whole thing. I'm not doing it just because of that. I really do mean this. So
hey, we wouldn't be doing this right now if we wasn't a huge fucking fan of these guys. So
yeah, seriously, guys. They inspired us to do this shit. You know what I mean? And we're not as good.
Yeah, we gonna cry in the car. No.